What is going on? Welcome into BP Insights. So I made this channel to talk about a lot of things. First off, how there's a disconnect in dating right now. If you're on dating apps or you're just seeing the world in general, you're knowing that a lot of women are going for the top 10 to 20% of men. And so I wanted to start this. I wanted to give you guys insights, pun intended, about dating, kind of the world of female nature, and I just wanted to talk about whatever comes to mind in my daily activity. So I wanted to start off with talking about this week and my interactions with women. So I've made it a goal to approach at least one woman a day, and by my standard of approach is talk to her, get her, and ask for her phone number. And my criteria, she's got to be in shape, attractive by my stand. Through my eyes, she's attractive. That's obviously depends on the person, but so I made it a goal to approach one girl a day. And I just wanted to talk about the interaction. So Monday, I got a girl's number in the luggage section. I saw her checking out suitcases. It was an attractive blonde girl wearing some Nike shoes. Came up to her and just a little customer service. Hey, how you doing? You find everything all right? Yeah. She's telling me she was taking a trip to England, and I did help her find a suitcase. I don't think she ended up actually buying it. But then I just went straight forward. My heart was pounding. I asked, hey, is it cool if I get your number and we'll hang out sometime? She said yes. Put her number in, and here's where it gets interesting, because I had my break about an hour later, and then I text her, and she replies back about 8 to 10. I think it was 8 minutes later, I want to say. And she puts, hey, I'll put what I put, hey, it's Brant, by the way, because I forgot to tell her my name. And she responds with, hey, with 2 Y's, a smiley face. It was nice to meet you. And so, yeah, then I just went straight for the date. And I put, did you want to... would you like to go to blah, blah, blah? I'm not going to say the place at, and then I said the Thursday night or whatever, and no reply. So, it was funny. I was, a lot of people, I talked to my coworkers about it, and they said that I went for the date too early. But here's where it's important. This is important insight right here. If she was truly interested, it doesn't really matter when you ask for the date. That's what you have to understand. So what this really means was she had maybe lukewarm, medium interest in me, as far as, as far as everything I was bringing to the table in that interaction, and just my overall attractiveness through her eyes. So basically, yeah, she did not find me that attractive, and was not super interested at all, because people that's the initial thing nowadays is people think it's too early to go for the date. If a woman's truly interested, if she has if she has initial high interest right from the get-go, she would have agreed to the time and date, and we could have got things rolling as far as the date goes. But that just shows that she wasn't interested. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that one. I thought that was an interesting one. That's one of the that was the first time I had asked for a number in a while. I thought I did a good job, because I think it's always better when you kind of start with an organic interaction. Obviously, you can play the aggressive angle and go up and just straight up ask for, say hi, how you doing, ask for the phone number. That method obviously can work, but to me, starting a conversation. Adjust starting a conversation and just kind of testing things and then asking for the number. I did get I was reading her body language. She did tend to have open body language. And what I mean by open body language was her feet weren't crossed. They were, her foot was pointing towards me. She was listening to what I was saying. She was engaging. She was interacting with me. So that's another, there was a few key indicators of interest. Obviously, it was just, medium interest. And that's the thing. A lot of guys will get excited about medium interest. Medium interest is not good because that really means that she still doesn't really find you all that attractive. I mean, I think a lot of guys just think if a girl doesn't have low interest, then you have a shot. That's not always the case. Obviously, low interest is pretty self-explanatory. That's like a girl, like I'll get into one of my that's like a girl that won't give you the time of the day if you try to go up and interact with her. Or, if it's a girl in your social circle, when you try to talk to her, she kind of just, ignores you. She probably won't say hi to you if she sees you in your social circle or even out in public. So those low interest girls you want to stay away from. Obviously, you want to be respectful to them as a human being. You still say hi. You can be a human being, but you obviously don't want to waste time trying to take them on dates, trying to raise low interest girls. That's just a complete waste of time. So let's go to Tuesday. Tuesday was interesting because I asked for a girl number at the register. And so that's the second time I've asked for a girl's number at the register. And I think, I think the register is fine, but it's kind of an it's maybe the best dynamic in the sense that they can walk away right after you ask. And so I was ringing her up. I was talking to her a little bit. She was buying some pet bowls. I asked her. One said meow on it, so I asked her if she had a cat. She said yeah, and so I was just talking to her a little bit. I noticed I kind of was looking to see her body language was fairly open. She was looking at me. She did smile when I looked up and glanced at her. So there was some indication of interest. And then I just kind of said fuck it, and asked for her number at the end of it. And she smiled and blushed, so indicator that she was kind of caught off guard, and maybe really wasn't expecting it. But then she said that I'm flattered, but I'm very much in a relationship. So that's kind of how that went. I thought that was interesting though, and I thought that was one definitely worth sharing because I talked to some other. I've kind of thought about this, the register. Yeah, it is kind of interesting. It's a dynamic that does somewhat benefit you because the girl is coming to you as opposed to you're coming to her. So, that's always when the girl comes to you, that's always a better thing. Obviously, you can still get a girl at the register with medium, low interest, or obviously low interest, but I've noticed that when I've had girls that were interested that I rang up at the register, they do tend to stand closer to me. Obviously, there is like a little bit of there's that, plexiglass or plastic see-through divider. There's like the counter, but I tend to notice they're open. They're looking at me. They're engaging with what I said. Sometimes they'll ask questions, and I notice that they're pretty close to me. As far as like as close as they can get with obviously, they can't stand, super close to me because there is the counter and then there's a little bit of a ledge there. So yeah, I just wanted to share Tuesday's interaction. Wednesday, I didn't work, just stayed at home and was watching tape for the NFL draft. Super pumped up for that in a couple months. But Thursday I was, just going about my day, and I noticed an attractive blonde girl that walked in, and I was, I had to get my approach in that day, And, I wasn't, I was kind of 50-50 about approaching her, to be honest, at first, because she wasn't, when she came in, here's another thing to look for. Usually, if a chick is really interested in you or finds you attractive, they usually will notice you right away. They'll look at you. Maybe they make eye contact with you. Maybe you'll catch them, kind of, looking at you out of the corner of their eye, maybe giving you a quick glance as, right when you turn around to look at her. But I didn't know, she wasn't giving me any sort of looks, any sort of choosing signals. We'll touch on choosing signals a lot on this podcast, but so there wasn't anything like that. But, so I watched it. She grabbed a cart in the vestibule and she went over to the beauty section. And so I was kind of 50-50 whether to approach her. I thought she was super attractive. I can remember she had some Gymshark leggings on. And so I said, fuck it. And I went up and approached her right by the makeup section. And I was pretty nervous, but I used that nervous energy to kind of garner up a confident approach. And I just came up and said, "Hi, how you doing?" I noticed she, made eye contact, smiled, which is a good start. And then I immediately asked her if she was finding everything, and she said, "Oh yeah, she was, a frequent shopper. She's from fairly close by in the area." So I, things were off to a good start, and I said, I asked her name. She told me her name, and then I just asked for her number. She offered to take down my number, which is something you should not do. So do not, if they ask for your number, don't not take their number. Always get their number so that you can send the first text, because a lot of times if a girl gets your number, they will not message you, or they'll do something like they'll message you they'll message you like hours later, or it's usually not a good idea to have the girl get the number, because then kind of the ball's in her court whether she's going to message you or not, whether she even saves your number, So always take her number, send the first text. I started doing this when I was picking up girls up in college. You always want to, I send a text that night. If I met her at the bar at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I'll send a text. Hey, it's, Brant from whatever. It was, nice hanging out with you, or send a joke about something you guys interacted with. You can wait till like the next morning, next day, but ideally you want to send something that night and you want to shoot for the hangout as soon as possible. But back to the story. So she gives me her number. It looks like a real number. It's a blue iMessage number. Same kind of thing. I message her like a couple hours later, and she responds quickly with a hey with two Y's. It's a little bit flirtatious. And then what was interesting though, she followed it up with a double text, probably about, I don't know, maybe 11 minutes later, and she asked for my Instagram. Now we got to pause here because this is important. You may be thinking that's a good thing. She wants your Instagram. She wants to see what you're all about. That's actually not a good thing. It's not a good thing if she wants to see your social media, because here's what she wants to do. She wants to go on my Instagram. She wants to look at something. My Instagram, I'll admit it, it's pretty weak as far as the amount of posts, as far as the followers game. She wants to go in, nitpick my fucking Instagram, and see and find something to disqualify me. So what does this mean? It's mean that she's like the girl Monday. It's likely she has it's likely she has about medium interest. Why I say medium interest, once again, she was smiling, she was engaging, she was looking at me when I was interacting. So there was some sort of interest. That's the other thing. If they look at you and smile with teeth, that's usually a good sign of some sort of interest. It usually means they find you attractive in some sort of way. So yeah, so that was a good thing. Or that was a good thing, but asking me for my Instagram was not a good thing. And what did I say here? I'm a fairly honest guy. Have I lied in the past? Sure, but I just told the truth. I just said, yeah, I have Instagram. I don't use it often. And then she replied hours later, which is, also a sign of low interest. Obviously, there's exceptions. Sometimes girls will be into you. They'll take for hours to reply if they actually are busy, or if they fell asleep, or But most of the time, a girl takes hours to reply, it's not a good sign. So that was another negative as far as that goes. And then she replied hours later and said, sorry, I was at work. She threw in multiple letters on some of the, and a couple of the words was just interesting. Not really sure what that has to do with anything, but she then she asked what is the at for my Instagram, and then I just left it on red because Biff, me giving her an Instagram, I'm kind of falling into her game. I am kind of losing the momentum as far as kind of sparking any sort of interest in me. Could she text back? Maybe that I leave her on red. Maybe that creates more curiosity and interest, but it's likely that she still has low interest and that she is just kind of saying fuck it, whatever. If he texts back, he texts back. If he sends me his Instagram eventually, it is what it is. But medium interest, she's likely not interested. So that was Thursday. Also Thursday, this was a bad one. So I made it my goal Thursday to get which is yesterday, to get 2 approaches in, which is not a good idea because at that point I was just so I made this deal with myself that if I don't, so I'll pinky swear to get an approach, and if I don't, I gotta punish myself and drop take $100 out of my bank account and drop it on the ground. Which you might think this is a little extreme, but if you know how to motivate yourself, and you know how to deep dive into your brain and figure out tricks to get you to do things, it's very helpful. Because I remember this made me just lock in. Okay, like when I saw an attractive girl, the Monday approach, the early Thursday approach, it's like, okay, it's go time if you want it, like, especially when you got to get 2 in, okay, it's go time. So the other approach Thursday, it's later in the day, my shift's till 5 p.m. See this girl walk, first of all, there's not a lot of times in stores, there's a lot of, elderly ladies, bless their heart, but at times there's not always an attractive chick in the store. So the first chick that walks in the store, I immediately go up to her. Hey, how you doing? She's not sending me a lot of interest, except, she did smile, but then she kind of, looked away like she wasn't, really interested in anything else I had to say. And I just kind of said awkwardly, hey, is it cool if I get your number and we'll hang out sometime? And she immediately went to the go-to. Sorry, I have a boyfriend. And then I said sorry awkwardly because at that point I was a little embarrassed, kind of just wanted to get out of the interaction. And then I kind of just walked away at that point. But see, that was just a case of, I probably shouldn't have escalated, or I probably shouldn't have just kept going. That's the other thing. You have to, like with my approach earlier in that day, Thursday, you kind of have to look for initial indicators of interest, whether to proceed or not. That's a lot of times why you'll get rejected, is you're not really getting any sort of initial interest. You're kind of, having a forced conversation that's really dragging, and it's tails off, it's going nowhere, and then you can sense they're not really interested in engaging with you or looking at your presence. So let's fast forward to Friday, which was earlier today. So I noticed a woman I noticed a woman initially come in, blonde, attractive woman with a hat on. I couldn't tell how old she was. I would have guessed maybe 22, 23, maybe 24. So back to today. Yeah, so I noticed this woman in the shoe aisle. And I had kind of been staring, you kind of do that thing when you see a woman you think is attractive, you kind of look and you're like, is she attractive? Is she not? So I finally do get up the courage to approach her in the shoe aisle. And I immediately just start with, hey, how you doing? And she says, good, does smile. And then I ask her name, and then, I say my name. We end up shaking hands. So I introduce myself, and at that moment, she's probably, saying that's interesting that he just introduced himself to me. But then I just asked, is it cool if I get your number? We'll hang out sometime, which at that point I was a little bit iffy about what she's going to say because she's been a little bit closed off. And I immediately knew, or she said, she said, I have a boyfriend. Sorry. And I immediately could tell that she was lying. Most likely, I don't know, maybe she did have a boyfriend, but bear with me here. She immediately crossed her legs, which is a closed off position. Immediately there was no indicators of interest. That's a lot of times that's just a woman putting her guard up when a guy's hitting on her, just to, just making sure, I'm not going to try to, keep advancing things forward when she's, clearly made it known that she's not interested. So that's how that went there. I was a little embarrassed, obviously. It's not super fun getting back to back-to-back rejections like that. But you gotta, deep down, you gotta say fuck it and you gotta love it. I've learned from a lot of guys, have made the point that you kind of got to look at rejection as a good thing at times, because, that's really their way of just saying that you got to step up your game, and I don't really find you all that, or, step up your game, or I don't really find you all that attractive. So, yeah, that was that. So that was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, how things kind of went. So I guess I'll talk about, I got a little more time. So I'll talk about some of the choosing signals you want to look for that girls will give you if you approach. So I've noticed working in a retail store that if you make eye contact with a girl and she and you go to like a different area of the store and you notice she kind of like follows you to that area of the store, that's definitely a choosing signal. I've noticed sometimes women have come in and I've just made eye contact with them and they kind of just, stare me down as they're walking, towards whatever area they're going to for a while. I've noticed they a lot of times I'll go up to the register to help ring and they'll immediately go get in line or start heading towards the checkout line. It's mirroring movements kind of thing. So, yeah, that's just some things to look for. Obviously, there's, if she doesn't give you any sort of, eye contact or look at you, that's usually a sign she, has very minimal interest in you. So, yeah, but, forcing myself to approach has been a good thing because you don't want to get into kind of the thing where you're always looking for choosing signals. Then you can't even really, because when I've done that, then I can't even really focus on work. Then I'm thinking, was that a choosing signal? Like today, for example, there was a cute girl that came in, and I actually eventually ended up getting her on the register. I probably should have asked for her number because I think she did have interest, but I had made, hair flips are big too. So I'd made eye contact with her. She came in with two other friends. Her friend did kind of like a hair flip. Hair flips are big. If you notice, like they'll run their hands through their hair when they know you're looking at them. They'll flip your hair back like this, exposing your neck. That's something to look for too. So I had noticed, that her friend probably found me attractive. Maybe there was some whispering going on. Maybe they, said I was attractive. And then I was at the register. I noticed the one girl came pretty close by. She was shopping in the men's cologne, and then was shopping in looking at the men's sweatshirts, which, could be a sign that she has a boyfriend. I don't know. Maybe some girls do like men's cologne. I don't fucking know, but it is something to keep in mind. And then I did have her at the register. She came up, did give me a full teeth smile, and did have some pretty open body language. Did kind of give me some looks when I was ringing her up. But yeah, just the one that's huge, and shout out Trip Advice really said the number one question you want to ask, is she paying attention to you? That's big, because if a woman's not interested, she will not pay any. basically pay almost little to no attention to you as far as that is concerned. So that's huge. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. Wanted to give you guys some insight as far as how this week went. So that was Monday through Friday. So we had approaches on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then tomorrow is Saturday. I'll get back on it. I'm going to try to release episodes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then clips could be coming any day of the week. So just kind of stay tuned and keep tuning into the show. With that being said, I'm going to wrap with that. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to BP Insights podcast. Make sure to stay tuned for more clips and episodes from the show. Till next time, peace.